Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Miami versus Clemson for the ACC championship game. Most likely. Pete's Hawaiian shirt. Good to see you here. I haven't worn you in a few days. Might have to tomorrow, though. It got warm outside again. It might be time to bust out the Hawaiian shirt again. Oh, Slim Shady's one of the... a team that scores 56 points in one half doesn't have an offense. I guess Miami doesn't have an offense either then. Y'all want to see something funny? This guy just doesn't get it. See here? See this here? Right here? This guy just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it, Sea-Dog. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. All right, we'll get the show started here in about 30 seconds. Unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of great games last week. There's a few on there we can talk about from last week, and we'll talk about some of the games from this week. Some things I want to ask Sea-Dog about the game against Syracuse. Cryin, Fran Brown. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. All right, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the ACC show. I'm your host, PigskinPeete, joined by my friend, co-host, and colleague, Sea-Dog. Let's see if we get a picture of Sea-Dog today. There he is. There he is. What's up, Sea-Dog? How you doing, buddy? Can't hear you.
I'm muted.
Okay, you were muted.
Professional.
Yeah. Hashtag professional.
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, amazing and fantastic. Thank you for asking. So I think we'll just jump right into it here. A heartbreaking loss for Georgia Tech. I actually watched every single second of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It was a rough one.
and I was lurking in your live stream too. I don't think I commented at all, but I was lurking and I saw some of your reaction to what was going on there. And you almost came back and won. I mean, I thought there for now that the clock management at the end of that game was pretty piss poor by your boy Brent Key. Now, the bottom line is you got whipped up and down the field for the majority of the game, so you probably deserved to lose that game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the actual game, and then we'll talk about Fran Brown.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, they came out and whipped our ass. You know, biggest thing that they did. Well, there's two huge things. First of all, they shut down our run game, which not a lot of people have since Brent Key has taken over. You know, I mean, you have the interim year, so that was kind of funny, but you know, Clemson last year did it, and Syracuse now has done it, and it's kind of a rare thing for our run game to just completely get shut down like that. Run blocking was not good. Running backs, I think they might be a little banged up, whatever, but we have not had that much trouble running on anybody in a while. So that, I mean, even like Georgia, we were able to run on Georgia last year, you know, but can't run on Syracuse. Come on. The other thing, Kyle McCord ate us alive, dude. They had like 400 yards of offense, like 300 of that was passing. It was ridiculous. Our defense basically completely no-showed. No pass rush. Complete opposite. I mean, we all watched the Florida State game, right? We lived in their backfield. Well, complete opposite here. They were getting stood up all game, and Kyle McCord had all day to freaking pass. And not only that, but, you know, our DBs were 2 and 3 steps behind the receivers. So receivers were just running up. And I mean, they just completely had their way with us offensively. And, you know, like you said, the offense didn't get it together until the very end. I thought that the special teams played great. There was a block field goal, block punt, and then a converted onside kick. So that was great. But you said the clock management towards the end of the game was not good. The clock management, I don't remember standing out to me towards the end of the game. It was towards the end of the half. The first half was when I was losing my mind over the clock management, and because I've seen other teams do this too. They freaking come out and you get the ball back right before half with a little bit of time, and they like half-ass try to score or whatever, or run some plays. You know, like they don't they don't decide if they're going to try and score. Like they don't commit to it. It's a phenomenon I've witnessed before, not just with Tech, but we did that crap. I hate it. Like if you're gonna try and score or get into field goal range, like commit to it. Don't come out and run the ball and freaking let 30 seconds run off when you have 2 timeout. Like, come on, like decide and freaking commit to getting into field goal range. We blocked a punt right before half. That was a great opportunity for us to score or at least get a field goal. And then we get the ball back after half and come back and do something then. But instead, we hand the ball off, waste a bunch of time, you know, get sort of into fringe field goal range, wound up trying to kick a 44-yarder from the right hash. Like we could have done better than that. We had, you know, the time and timeouts to do better than that. I've seen us do it. I've seen us have great clock management. And it wasn't there at the end of the half. So that was frustrating. And guess what? That field goal wound up costing us because we lost by 3. that could have been a game changer there at the end of the game. Offense finally gets 6.5 minutes to go or so. Offense finally gets their head out of their ass and decides to score. Haynes King, they're flying down the field. And Haynes King, is playing amazing. Great job, whatever. We score, get the onside kick, score again. And instead of kicking another onside kick, we just kick it out the back of the end zone, let our defense do it. We had 3 timeouts still. I actually agreed with this freaking decision, okay? Because, I mean, in hindsight, you say, well, why not go for the onside kick? The chances of you converting an onside kick 2 in a row are ridiculously low. We got lucky enough to convert the one in the first place. So, yeah, we freaking. I'm gonna get mad again.
Am I right? I think I'm right here. So I agree. They got the onside kick, scored, then kicked the ball off, which I also think was the right move. But the reason I said they mismanaged the clock in that time is, I think they ran one play. Syracuse ran one play, and there was still like 2 minutes and 8 seconds left on the clock, or somewhere between. It was over 2 minutes. And instead of taking the timeout, they just let it run down to 2 minutes for the 2 minute warning. They could have got 2 plays before the 2 minute warning. That's how that happened, right?
Are you talking about Georgia Tech with our timeouts?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we would have got the ball. I think that we were in a good position to save our timeouts. Like, we didn't have to use them because it was like 3rd down and they got a penalty or whatever, or a couple incomplete passes. It was 3rd and 10, dude. And all we had to do was defend one play on 3rd and 10, maybe take a timeout then, and they kicked the ball back. Haynes King would have gone down and scored and won the game. No, we can't freaking get off the field once on 3rd and 10. We give it up. Guy completely misses his freaking assignment. His receiver runs open and he freaking converts, dude. At that point, it didn't matter. The timeouts didn't matter. But I mean, maybe the chances of freaking converting 2 onside kicks were higher than our defense getting off the field on 3rd and 10. I don't know. A lot of people criticize Coach Key for declining a penalty, which would have made it 2nd and 25 versus 3rd and 10. But I don't think it would have mattered. Our defense sucked balls. We didn't deserve that win that game. They freaking no-showed. They might as well have been, throwing freaking passes to each other in their shorts. I mean, a backyard freaking ball, just throwing the ball around, because it's like our defense wasn't even there. It pisses me off. We literally could not get off the field on 3rd and 10 to win the game. You give up the freaking 3rd and 10 to lose. What you've been doing all game shouldn't have been a surprise, but I'm like, damn, can you turn up for one play or one set of downs? Come on.
Yeah, I'm not even a Georgia Tech fan, and I was getting frustrated with the way Georgia Tech was playing defensively. It was pretty, it was rough. That was rough.
Weren't even there.
I know it was.
And it's like maddening. Everybody saw us play against Florida State. Were they that bad? Is Florida State that freaking bad? Or we're probably just that inconsistent?
I don't know. I think you're just that inconsistent. That's what I think.
Look, it's a first-year defensive coordinator. Kind of expected that. I would hope for a little more than just a complete no-show. If it was anything more than that, we could have won or been in the game. You know what I mean? But it was just a complete travesty defensive performance.
Yeah. Disappointing appearance by Georgia Tech in Syracuse. Syracuse, I don't think is a terrible team, so I wouldn't worry too much about it as far as the rest of the season goes. But yeah, that was a tough game to watch. Following the game, though, Fran Brown decided, instead of talking about his players and how great they played, he decided to take a big shot at Brent Key and Georgia Tech, and accused him of calling Georgia Tech accused him of saying that Syracuse is not a physical team. Now, I have scoured the internet, me and my people, and by me and my people, I mean me, myself, and I have scoured the internet to scorch the earth to look for this quote from Brent Key that says that that Syracuse is not a physical team, and I have yet to find that. Have you found that?
No, it's freaking nowhere to be found.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. Here's what Brent Key said. He said, the more physical team is going to win or whatever. It's about physicality and toughness that we bring from. He was like, here, this game comes down to, because the reporters were asking him about schematic X's and O's or something. He's like, it's not a schematic thing. It's about the physicality and toughness that we bring from Atlanta, Georgia to Syracuse, New York. When we get on that plane, something like that, a freaking inspirational quote. It's the same thing he says in every single press conference since he's taken over as the interim, and it's never been a problem until Fran Clown gets wind of it and takes it personally. Oh, he must be talking about me. He must be freaking calling us soft. I don't know. The dude is just, I mean, did you see what he was saying did you see his comments after the press conference?
No.
You didn't see what Fran Brown was saying?
After the press conference?
Yeah.
No,
during the press
conference. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so he's saying, oh, this was very personal to me. This was like, seriously, dude? I mean, he's just making a complete mountain out of a molehill here.
Yeah. I see, Slim, I'm going to bring you on in just a second. So I saw your video about, first of all, I think there's nothing wrong with Fran Brown using bulletin board material. Every single coach does it. I thought it was weird the time that he chose. I mean, talking about it after the game in a press conference is not bulletin board material at that point. That's just, you're just kind of talking shit at that point.
Before and after the game.
Yeah.
He seriously, like, it seemed to have seriously bothered him.
But
he talked to quite a bit. I
saw your video talking about this, and I agree with most everything you said. Dabo Sweeney's out here catching strays from you for some reason. You said that maybe Fran Brown has taken the spot from Dabo Sweeney for being the biggest crybaby in the ACC. Did you say that?
Guilty.
I'm just curious. I'm curious. I know. I'm curious what Dabo Sweeney's cried about.
Yeah, Dabo Sweeney's just, I mean, he's just in general. I mean, if you watch, I mean, he goes insane during games. Like, it seems it's widely known that Dabo, is.
Well, as a perception, yeah.
Be a crybaby. So it was just I don't know. It was just a funny throwaway joke.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was funny too.
Level, this is like, really, dude? I wonder if he's gonna do this and just go around. This is this man's first ACC game. I wonder if he's gonna go around and piss everybody off in the conference.
Hey, look, I guess whatever wins you games. I think Fran Brown's going to be a very good coach. I really do. I think he's a perfect fit for Syracuse also, because that program and that team needs somebody like him to fire them up. Because let's face it, nobody cares about fucking football in Syracuse. No, they just don't.
We'll see if that's a sustainable
outside of their alumni.
We'll see if that's a sustainable freaking way of getting your players excited, is taking mundane press conferences and blowing them up to, making it bigger than it really is. If it works for him, then go for it, I guess. But it's pretty funny. He comes on and he takes it more than just quote unquote bulletin board material. What's up? What's up, bro? My brother's here.
Hey, it's B-Dog.
It's B-Dog.
What's up, B-Dog?
Hang on, let me put you to where he can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me.
Talking about Georgia Tech and Clemson sucking?
We're talking about Fran Clown, the Syracuse coach, and how he's a big crybaby.
Did he just say talking about Georgia Tech and Clemson sucking? Did you see the Clemson game last week, B-Dog? They destroyed App State. They didn't lose to Syracuse.
Hey, not everybody can freaking play. I wish we could
play week in and week out.
I wish we could freaking get easy games. Like, if we could play Florida State and group of 5 teams every week.
Yeah.
We'd have a great record, but
Yeah, you're right. Not everybody can score 56 points in one half. You're right. I understand. I understand.
Did they beat them 56?
They destroy. Yeah, no, they put in 56 in the first half.
Hey, no, I did not see that game.
And now Klubnik has inflated stats, and Clemson fans are having fun with that.
First of all, now listen, I've seen this argument padding stats. You can't pad stats in the first half of a football game.
Stop it.
Hey, I'm not.
You can't pad.
I probably do the same
6
thing.
points against St. Mary's School of the Blind.
It wasn't St. Mary's School of the Blind. It was App State. Who'd you play? Who did Miami play last week? Did you put up 56 points against them?
St. Mary's School of the Blind.
Yeah. Did you put up 56 points in the first half against them, or any half? Second half, first half, any of them?
For what? What are you proving? That's like
It was the first half.
On Army last year.
What are they supposed to do? Take their starters out after the first quarter?
Good God.
You guys are insane. They took him out in the third quarter. He played like one series in the third quarter. They took him all. Hell, they played every single player on that football team in that game.
So did
Four quarterbacks.
You beat up a can of corn. Stop it.
Yeah, okay. I guess I won't be happy about 8 touchdowns in the first half. I'm crazy.
I'd be happy about it, but I mean, clearly we got to take it with a grain of salt. Like out of state, no decent team is gonna let that happen
listen,
to them.
I can't take you seriously anyway because you just said what does Dabo cry about? What doesn't Dabo cry about? That's a much shorter list.
I didn't expect as much of a bite back. I thought anybody listening would be like, yeah, he does cry a lot.
I don't know. My definition of crying is different than yours. I think if you just come out like the way that Fran Brown did and just go on the offensive on the attack, Dabo Swinney, all he does is answer questions honestly that he's asked. He's not going out there broadcasting his thoughts. He's answering questions.
No, you're right. No, you're completely right. That's why this Fran Brown thing is funny because it's like, really, dude? Yeah. So I agree. So
when somebody asks Dabo a question, he gives them an answer they don't like, that means he's crying.
Yeah,
that's what that means.
No, I mean Dabo hasn't done this before.
He didn't answer Tyler from Spartanburg. He got his little feelers over that one.
Well, the Tyler he should have never been taking calls in the first place. Most coaches don't. I think there's only like 2 or 3 coaches in the entire country that take calls from fans during the season. That's just a stupid idea to begin with.
And everyone that doesn't, including my own, is a pussy.
Why? Why would you take live calls from a fan during the season?
Why wouldn't you?
Because what does that accomplish? How does that help your football program?
Those are the very people you are accountable to.
No, there's no. You're not. No, you're not. You're accountable to the people. You're accountable to. Let me tell you who you're accountable to. You're accountable to your players and the people that employ you and pay you. Not Tyler from fucking Spartanburg, or me for that matter.
Because guess what? With no fans, there is no football, there is no Dabo, there is no $10 million a year check.
Yeah. Well, whether Dabo was there or, Joe Blow from the fucking street was the head coach, there'd still be Clemson fans in that stadium every week. There was before Dabo and there will be after, so he's not special.
Oh, yeah, you had a half-full stadium before Dabo.
And that's not true at all. It's not true at all. No, it's not.
Video evidence all over the internet. Stop it.
No, it's not true. You're just wrong. You're just wrong.
That program in the 90s, they were not
You're
there.
just wrong. The same way that South Carolina fills up their stadium, even though they're garbage. Clemson was the same way.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were. Oh, look who it is. What's up, Squid?
Salutations.
Now, normally I wouldn't let a SEC guy on the ACC show, but this is a special week for me because your Tennessee Volunteers took Dave Dorn and NC State to the woodshed, and so I'll grandfather you in just based on that alone.
Bought him 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what hell out of it. 41 points.
Yeah, what was it? 51-10. Yeah.
It was a friggin' beatdown. They thought they had us with that pick 6 that we had, but then after that, everything just went.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, that's actually a good showing for Tennessee that Nico can play a bad game, and the defense and the run game could still be there to bail him out, as it were.
Now, I'm glad you brought up Nico. Squid, what do you think about the fact that Cade Klubnik has a better QBR and the same amount of touchdowns and less interceptions than Nico does?
Well, let us play Appalachian State, and you'll see what that's
Well,
like.
Appalachian State probably better than NC State. Let's be honest. And who'd you play week 1?
Chattanooga. I'm not saying that he's better than
Chattanooga. Oh my God. Is that a community college?
I think you're throwing me into a group that I'm not a part of because I'm not claiming to say that Nico is better than every quarterback. I've seen a lot of Tennessee fans run around saying that he's a Heisman finalist and all that. And like, let's pump the brakes on that. We saw him in his third game.
The 12-0 Voltards are out in full effect.
Well, of course. Did you not? I mean, that's kind of to be expected. In all honesty,
no, it's not. Why is it?
We just beat the hell out of a ranked team by 41 points.
Yes, and I absolutely give you credit for that. But you beat Alabama once in 18 years.
No,
and if we go 10-2, we're still making the playoffs. So
no, Bulldog JC. Klubnik is not winning the Heisman, and neither is Nico. Neither one of them. I have never. Has anybody ever heard me say that Klubnik is winning the Heisman? Of course not. I'm not crazy. I mean, I am crazy, but I'm not stupid. Well, I am stupid, but you get my point.
We get your point.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Well, Squid, full transparency, I had money on you to beat Florida last year. So guess what I'm not picking you to do? Fucking beat Florida.
Okay, well, that was in Gainesville, so completely different.
It doesn't matter. They've owned you for the last 18 years.
Okay, just remember that when Miami plays, the opponents that day always lose to.
We don't play North Carolina, so I'm good.
Do you play Georgia Tech?
We don't always lose to Georgia Tech.
Oh, not always.
Last year, so
North Carolina's been that kind of thorn in our side, really even before we joined the ACC, but definitely since we've been there.
You sound like the Miami Dos Equis man. You know, when I don't always drink Dos Equis or beer, but when I do, I drink Dos Equis. Well, we don't always lose to Georgia Tech, but when we do, it's bad.
Not really.
It's a competitive game. It's always a competitive game.
Yeah.
We're still going to that this year, right?
Of course, crap it.
Oh.
No, that's not me. It's stuff with Joey.
Oh, man.
Shoot, Miami got to go on the road to Georgia Tech. Write that one in as a loss.
No, usually in this series with Miami,
normally it's the other way around.
Yeah, whoever's the road team has the advantage, I swear.
Not to mention, I think this year, unless Miami completely collapses, which I don't think that they will between now and then, they're probably going to be a three touchdown favorite over Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's
close
true.
to it.
But let's not act like Georgia Tech can't hang with the freaking anybody on our schedule. Come on.
No.
Yes, we're just inconsistent.
Yeah.
I told you the week before you tried to shit down your pant leg against Georgia State. Oh no, we didn't. Hey.
Well, we're not just a bad team. We're just inconsistent.
No, you're not a bad team.
I don't think they're a bad team.
If you catch us in a week where we're fired up or whatever it is, or get our head out of our ass.
Fired up. Hey, be fired up. What's that defense going to do against Cam Ward?
We'll be
Come
fired
on,
up.
Man.
That defense, well, it might be fit in the 50s.
I still stand on my original prediction that Georgia Tech wins about 8 games. 7 or 8.
8? Really?
Seven or 8.
I'm feeling 6 or 7.
8 the ceiling, but I guess 6 is the floor. I don't know, but you're definitely a bowl team.
I think 6 to 8, and then 8 is like if everything goes right. We can't have another performance like that. Like last week.
After the Florida State game, I thought Georgia Tech could win 9, but that kind of encapsulates how Florida State just sucks rather than how Georgia Tech is really good.
I actually wasn't surprised by Syracuse's performance. I spent all offseason telling Ohio State fans, Kyle McCord was not your problem.
Yeah, he wasn't. You're right.
Guess what? Kyle McCord looks way better than Will Howard does right now.
Hey, I'm still not freaking convinced. I'm still not convinced. Now, I've watched this happen with Georgia Tech. I don't know if you saw my video, but I mentioned this there too. If you okay, I wouldn't be so quick to jump on the freaking Kyle McCord bandwagon because Georgia Tech defense in the past few years has made a habit of letting the other quarterback freaking have a career day against them.
Well, see, it's not because of Georgia Tech. I said this last year watching Ohio State that Kyle McCord was not their problem.
That's fine, but I'm not so sure he's going to light the world on fire like he did in that game every single game. I mean, can any decent quarterback not stand in a pocket? He's got all day to throw and throw to open receivers. I mean,
I don't know. I think he's pretty good.
Anybody could do that.
You know the thing that I hesitate to use the word scary in the same sentence as Syracuse, but the scary thing about Syracuse is typically they under their previous coach they always had a very good offense. Their defense was just awful. Now they have a decent defense under Fran Brown, and they have the best quarterback they've had probably since what's his face about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember the guy's name now.
Honestly, they may have their best quarterback since Donovan McNabb.
Damn, 30 years ago. Damn.
I mean, I'm just there's a lot of recency bias with teams like Syracuse, but me and you are old enough to remember when Syracuse was a perennial top 25 team.
Yeah, now you're going way back, way back.
Well, not really. I mean, I'm only 37, so I mean.
Well, you're still talking about 30 years ago.
Yeah, but this was back in the 90s and into the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'll say this, though, about Georgia Tech. That Notre Dame-Georgia Tech game looks a lot easier in Tech's favor now. They ought to win that game.
I am not so fast on that.
Yeah.
I understand it's people are, well, I don't know if they're overreacting because that was a terrible loss. Sea-Dog knows what that feels like to lose to NIU, don't you, Sea-Dog?
Good Lord, dude. I mean, yeah. At least we were horrible that year. I mean, Notre Dame was ranked 5. We went 3-9 that year, and they won their conference that year. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little better about myself after seeing what happened to Notre Dame, and to really everybody, there's a lot of teams around the country, a lot of ranked, supposedly good teams that are getting upset or near upset with group of 5 teams.
Yeah, which brings me back to my point about App State. You guys are poo-pooing on that, scoring 66 points, which most of it was in the first half. And I'm like, look around the country. Huh?
I mean, listen, they beat Michigan 20 years ago, and then 3 years ago they beat an absolutely abysmal Texas.
They're still a top 10 group of 5 team. And
stop it.
They are. Hey, first of all, let's take this to the chat. Chat, is App State a top 10 group of 5 program and team? Or not?
I say they are usually, but I doubt they're that this year.
Guess who is? The teams that have made New Year's 6 games, teams like Boise, teams like Cincinnati, teams like Memphis. Those are good group of 5 teams.
Did Memphis ever make a New Year's 6?
No, not quite.
Are you sure about that?
Well, actually, I'm not sure about that.
I think they did. I think they did with Mike Norvell, didn't they?
And listen, if they pull off the upset this week, they're going to be the front runner to be the group of 5 team in the playoff. And it's actually not even much of an upset. Yeah, Memphis is playing Florida State at Florida State.
Yeah, and
Florida State's only a 3-point favorite.
I think in Vegas, nobody. Don't quote me on this. I did look it up a few weeks ago before the season started. I think it was Boise State, and then Memphis was second in the odds to make the playoff. To be the highest ranked group of 5 team.
Yeah.
So yeah, Memphis is a good team.
Well, Appalachian State, I know for a fact, was on there too. They were
okay. See.
Okay, I just disagree with it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, can you name 10 group of 5 teams that are better than Appalachian State?
That's what I just got done saying. I don't think you can.
Well, I can name 5 off the top of my head.
Well,
I said 10.
App State, though.
I didn't say 5. I said 10.
6 now that I think about. Well, give me a second. I'm thinking about it. There's 6 because technically Oregon State, Washington State, Notre Dame are all group of 5 teams technically.
No, stop it.
They are.
Stop. No, not.
I'm getting into the technicalities of the rule.
No,
here.
stop it. They're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
They're not Power 4.
Yeah, well, they're not Group of 5 teams, though. Especially, I can't believe you put Notre Dame in there. That's just silly. I see what you're doing.
Hey, I'm pushing narratives.
I know you push narratives like a broom. Yeah, you do.
I believe it. I believe it.
All right. So as far as all these games in the ACC last week, again, a lot of these are really worth talking about. And quite honestly, going into week 3 too, I can't wait till conference play starts. I guess next week for most people. But
shit, not me. I still got 2 more weeks of this shit.
Yeah, well, that's true. Miami's one of the exceptions to that statement there. BYU at SMU. Can we stop pretending that even after they struggled with Nevada and had a struggle win week 2, there were still people beating the SMU drum in the ACC. Can we go ahead and just kill that narrative right now? They lost to BYU at home, and BYU's no good.
Hey, here's what you do: quit beating that drum and start beating the cow drum, baby.
Yeah, let's start. Yeah, we'll start beating the cow drum. Although, not so fast. Who says that? Is that what's his face on game day? Not so fast with the cow thing, because it turns out Auburn's trash. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, Auburn's they're a 7-win team. They might not even win that.
That's fine, but once again, I'm pushing narratives. That is an ACC win over an SEC team.
Yeah.
Yes.
So SMU, what? Let me get my notes here. Do you remember what we had SMU? We did them on our ACC predictions. Let's see my notes
I
here.
may not have been here for that one.
I'll tell you.
I honestly do not remember.
I got my. Here we go. 6-6 is what we had them. Now that was in response. If you want to go back and watch that ACC show when we did that prediction and go look at the chat, it was everyone was predicting 9 and 10 wins in the ACC for SMU. I think
my first instinct of them coming in this year is they're at least going to need a year to acclimate to the Power 4 level.
I think more than a year.
Well, I think so.
I think a full recruiting cycle. So let's say 3 years. That's fair. I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, based off some of the things I've seen going on the sidelines of some of these SMU games, he may need more time than that.
It's a bad situation. They couldn't even score a touchdown against BYU. They kicked, something like 6 or 7 field goals. That was all their points.
Did somebody else do that?
Stone. I don't remember.
That's right. That's right. It's the Steelers against the Falcons.
Of course.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and punch my boy Baker's ticket to the playoffs. That fucking division's on lockdown.
To add insult to injury for SMU, they're not even getting paid by the ACC to be in this conference. So they're going to be the whipping boy for the next 2 or 3 years in the ACC, and they're not and they're doing it for free. Now I didn't realize that SMU was such a wealthy school. They have a lot of money apparently.
They do.
All those Texas schools are, man.
Dude, well,
oil money.
Talking about this, it's not just oil money with SMU. We were talking about, I think it might have been one of TriStar's Twitter spaces. Somebody looked it up. SMU has graduated 5 billionaires in the last decade.
Wow.
So there's some money beyond just, typical Texas oil.
Y'all ever seen Pony Excess?
Pony Excess?
No, it is.
The 30 for 30.
Oh.
30 for 30?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that was what it was called. Yeah, the 30 for 30 on SMU. Yeah.
Is it just me? I looked through their schedule, too. Is SMU trying to start a holy war?
With who?
Perhaps.
They're playing, BYU. They're playing Boston College, which is a Catholic school. You had Houston Christian. And you had somebody, I think they play TCU, too.
Wow.
Is this another narrative you're trying to
start
spread?
a holy war.
Yeah. Is there a Muslim school out there they can play too and just go ahead and complete the trifecta?
Right?
That would be Florida State.
Speaking of which, yeah, they are. Yeah, boy, that's going to be the toilet bowl right there. Watch Florida State wound up 0-3 going up against SMU.
While this is on my mind, and damn somebody else for making me defend Florida State again, but who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to let the student body vote on doing away with the war chant on third down?
What? They did that at Florida State?
Yes.
That's one of the worst things I've ever heard. Also, Shedeur Sanders asking them not to play the fight song after touchdowns or whatever it is.
Oh, I don't know if that was Shedeur that did that. I think it was Dion that did that.
Well,
Which is even worse. Which is even worse.
Here's the thing. We weren't apparently even paying attention. This is something they started last year. But they put it to a vote of the student body, somebody in the administration, God only knows who. And I agree with Josh Peete, whoever it was needs to be kicked out on their ass expeditiously. But even when it's Florida State, I'm not cool with fucking with college football tradition.
Did they post the results of the vote?
Not that I know of.
Well, I'm assuming that they voted not to get rid of it, right? I mean,
I wish Georgia would stop playing their god-awful fight song.
Florida State is not doing the war chant on third down anymore.
Oh, my God.
Now that's just the band. We all know the crowd's still
okay, all right. So there you go.
But like I said, it's on Josh Pete's channel. A whole 10, 15-minute video about just it. An excerpt from his show. It was one day last week I saw it. Like, we all know the crowd's still going to do it, but they put a vote to the student body, and they're not allowing the band to do the tomahawk chop on third down.
Why not?
Well,
that makes me sick. That I mean, what are we, the NFL?
Yeah.
Did they ever say why? I mean, I feel like the answer might be obvious. But...
Because some asshole in an office there at Florida State don't like it. I guarantee that's what it boils down to.
Well, ironically enough, Celine Driver's in the chat. What's up, Celine? So I'm guessing Celine's going to refuse to watch Florida State games now, probably. Just based on that.
Watching too many Florida State games anyway. And the way they're playing, not too many Florida games either.
Ah, dang.
Does that mean he'll watch the absolute clown fest at the end of the season between friggin' 1-10 Florida and 2-9 Florida State?
Okay, I seriously have to ask this question at this point. Is Billy Napier retarded?
Borderline.
Perhaps.
He's benching DJ Lagway for Graham Mertz.
He will never be the freaking Sembel Billy allegations.
Now let me, just in case that hasn't sunk in, he is benching DJ Lagway for Graham Cracker Mertz.
Yeah.
He's already blaming losses on the fans. He's sealed his fate.
Not to mention, he's doing it against a team that he very well could lose to this coming week. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look. Texas A&M's not very good either, but still, I agree with Slim. I think you just got to ride with Lagway at this point. I mean, what do you have to lose? You're literally coaching for your job at this point. Why keep in a guy that you know is mediocre when you have a guy that could potentially be very good?
And Lagway looked much better than anything else I've seen from Mertz. He's mobile. He can run around. He can throw pretty good deep balls. He can do everything that you want out of a quarterback, but I guess loyalty comes into play.
The best argument I could understand is because DJ Lagway likes to take risks, he can cost you a game. Where Graham Mertz, he may not win you a game, but you're not going to lose a game because of Graham Mertz either. I'll give him that much credit. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way. And he was kind of the epitome of consistency last year.
Yeah.
Against Miami, he threw that pick towards the end of the game.
No quarterback ends their career never throwing a pick.
Oh, no, I get that, but it's not like he's going to go mistake-free. I just think they'd have a way better chance of actually doing something on offense if they had Lagway there.
Well, and I'm playing devil's advocate with that. I agree with you that DJ Lagway needs to play.
Yeah, I think we all.
And, this is a team where you don't trust Florida's defense to stop anybody. So that kind of comes into play too. Because let's be honest, Florida's defense is their defense might be worse than their offense. It's an abysmal train wreck. They got a lot going down there in Gainesville. Good luck. Good freaking luck is all I can say.
All right, moving on to the next game from last week, Florida A&M and Miami. We won't spend a lot of time on this. It was Florida A&M, for Christ's sake. So Miami won 56-9, a convincing win. Cam Moore with 304 yards. How long did he play in that game? Did he play the first half or the entire game? I didn't see it.
He wasn't in the entire game. They pulled him out. I didn't memorize the timestamp, but he got pulled out in the third quarter.
Okay.
Now, him and some of the starters, I think, to teach a lesson because Mario had to put foot to ass, and I'd rather him have to do it in this game. Like, they got up 14-0, 21-0, something like that, and you could just tell a shift into the demeanor of the team, and it pissed off Mario, and he made a point of saying so to the sideline reporter on his way to the locker room. And then, to their credit, because I've seen former Miami teams not respond to an ass chewing at halftime, they responded to it.
So Cam Ward finished with 304 yards. Damian Martinez 91 yards. Convincing win there. No surprise. Tennessee and NC State and Charlotte. 51-10. Nico, can you pronounce his last name for me?
Iamaliava.
Iamaliava. I got to practice that.
Yes.
So has anybody noticed how bad freaking Grayson McCall is, at least his accuracy?
Yeah, he's no good.
I mean,
you got to be pretty bad to throw a pick six on a dump off pass. That's pretty bad.
You almost have to be as bad as DJ to do that, because DJ did that about 5 times.
Hey, the only thing worse might have been that pick six that Shador threw in the Colorado game.
Oh, that was so bad.
oh yeah.
Then again, though, he has about 0.1 nanoseconds to throw the ball.
Grant that, yes, I do. I feel for him a little.
I mean, I feel for him too, but him and Dion, it's the same thing that everybody else gets on him for. Their attitude, all the smack talk. This is exactly what happens. Talk shit, get hit. That's the way I see it. And that's exactly what's happening to him. Nebraska punched him in the mouth.
And yeah, okay, he didn't appear to be injured, but I understand that's the excuse they're throwing out. That ain't a good look going to the locker room with 5 minutes left or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. It's an absolute mess down there. The more games that go on, and the fact that Shador basically, even though he was probably right about his offensive line, he put him under the bus in the press conference.
You don't say that
It's the ultimate way to alienate yourself from the rest of the team. But then again, those 3 players, Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, and Shiloh Sanders, have already alienated themselves from the entire team, because that's all Dion cares about.
Shiloh's done for the year.
Yeah, he had surgery on his arm.
Yeah, I heard that. That's tough.
Which I hate to see anybody get injured, but we all saw there was a reason Shiloh was a backup at South Carolina.
Yeah, look, Shiloh's he's not one of the top players on that team. I mean, he just happens to be Deion's son. That's all.
Deion needs to be fired for a cause.
Well, they won't fire him because he's making so much money. And Colorado, they care more about that than they do about winning. That's clear.
Yeah,
that's clear.
What it is, and,
I mean, okay, yeah, you're going to have a little more money, but your football team's going to be in worse shape at the end of the year when he leaves than when he got there.
No, I agree with you. But they don't.
It's a media show, not a football program. At least right now.
Jacksonville State at Louisville. And Louisville's ranked number 22. Obviously, they're 2-0, 49-14, an ass beating against a decent, I guess, Jacksonville State team. But an honest question here: Is Louisville around to hang around in the ACC and start becoming a threat every year? I'm still on the fence about it. I mean, I think they were obviously very good last year. They appear Now, we haven't seen them play anybody with a pulse yet, so we'll find out. They appear to be a very solid team this year. Is this a team that we're going to start seeing in the top tier of the ACC for the foreseeable future?
But to your point, who did they beat? A bunch of slapdicks from East Boca.
Yeah, that's why. I said that. I mean,
be careful about that.
I mean, well, what's funny is they're literally from East Boca, but it's like Louisville is kind of in the same category to me right now as Missouri. Like they played, two punching bags.
I'm not going to overreact to their record this year, but if you go back to last year and then this year, and the fact that they have a new coach and they seem to be a different type of program than they were under Petrino and even the last guy, I think Jeff Brom's a very good coach.
Well, I do too, but what I'm saying is, okay, they can look good right now and then go 2-6 in conference, and we have a very different line of thought on Louisville all of a sudden.
Yeah. Do you think they'll go 2-6 in the conference, though?
Well, I doubt it, but I'm just throwing something out there.
Yeah.
It's just, like you said, with who they played, I mean, what real reading can you get of them?
You can't. Now, they travel to Clemson this year. We'll get to see what they're made of then against a real defense.
What's their next game? Is it another high school team, or do they play like an ACC game?
I'm going to pull up next week here in just a couple of minutes, so we'll look at it. There's several teams in the ACC on a bye this week. Clemson's on a bye this week. I know that. I don't know who else is. Georgia Tech at Syracuse. We talked about this at the top of the show. And if you look, the final score was 31-28. Kyle McCord threw 381 yards on that Georgia Tech defense. But don't let the score fool you, because I did watch the entire game. Georgia Tech scored 10 points late in the fourth quarter to make it this close. It wasn't close for the majority of the game.
So you're saying it's like a Alabama UCF or Alabama US, the mirror image of that.
Sort of.
Situation.
Yeah, I guess that's a good comparison, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at least they didn't get blown out, I guess, but in theory.
Shout out to poor Rec Talk, who actually flew his ass up there to sit there and watch that.
He's gone to 3 road games and lost all 3 of them. Since he started his channel, he went to Clemson, Ole Miss, and this game.
He needs to go to another one.
So what you're saying is Rec Talk's bad luck on the road?
Yes, and an equally as surprising stat, or perhaps more, is that me and him are undefeated streaming together. We're like 5-0 or something.
Oh, did he go with you to the Bowling Green game?
Yes.
Yeah, we were both there. Yeah,
they were both there.
Unfortunately, not the same juju. As far as information.
But see, I think we figured this out. From now on, neither one of y'all go to another game, and y'all just stream every game together.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that Sea-Dog wears like his lucky underwear on game day. Do you have a special underwear you wear?
Special underwear? Just whatever, has the least amount of holes in it.
Okay. The least amount of holes. That means they all have holes in them.
Yeah. Dude, the underwear I'm wearing now has like 5 holes in it. And I gotta scratch my balls and it like punches through.
I could have went the rest of my life without knowing that.
That may be more disturbing than what Hover Billy Paul texted me earlier.
Oh, God.
And I feel better off not knowing what that was.
App State at Clemson. We talked about this also. 56 points in the first half. 8 possessions on offense for Clemson. 8 touchdowns in the first half. Then we saw the second, third, and fourth string come out in the second half. Anyway, 66-20 was the final score there. Klubnik, 378 yards, 24 of 26. Phil Maffa, 118 yards on the ground in the first half again. So, look, cautiously optimistic is still where I am with this Clemson team, but it was good to see them at least look competent on offense. I don't care if they're playing the Citadel. That doesn't matter to me. They did what they needed to do. Instead of this being a questionable game in the second half, it was over in the first half. So I'll take it. Yeah, that's that. Now here was a good game. How many of you guys watched the Pittsburgh at Cincinnati game?
I did not.
I unfortunately did not get to.
I stopped watching it when Cincinnati was up big, and then I turned the TV back on, and I was like, how the hell did Pitt win?
I freaking called it too. I was the only one to pick Pitt and just wanted to freaking jerk myself off a little there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, jerking yourself off is better than jerking somebody else off, I think.
Well,
can't argue that.
But yeah, Cincinnati.
Along the same lines of eating your own cake.
Yes, Cincinnati was up big in this game, and in Pittsburgh, and in real time, I was scrolling through Twitter, which I always do during the games if I'm not streaming, and remember when Talk is Pitt came on last week, and he was trying to convince us that their quarterback was better than what's his name, Kenny Pickett. Do you remember that?
I remember that. It
Yeah.
gave me so much confidence. I picked Pitt.
So during the game, he was tweeting out to bench that quarterback.
I think he was high when he came on
I
last
don't
week.
know. But anyway,
It's pretty funny.
Pittsburgh, yeah, they roaring. I think they were down like 16 points or something. They came back to win it by 1 at the end. So 28-27 for the fighting Pittsburgh team. California at Auburn. Wow, the new juggernaut of the ACC. Check it out. Well, I don't know what we're going to do about Cal. Cal might win the ACC now. They beat Auburn 21-14. What are we going to do?
Well, a lot of that is due to the fact that Auburn has a bucket of piss on it for a quarterback, but
Yeah.
Still, though, that is a big win for Cal. That's a huge win.
I didn't get to catch a lot of these games, unfortunately.
I didn't see any of the game, so I don't know anything about it other than the highlights I saw.
Yeah.
But anyway, good win for Cal. Auburn's terrible, but hey, California went on the road against all odds. I don't think anybody picked them on game day. Actually, nobody did. Nick Saban was stroking off Auburn. Tough place to play. California's got no chance. Blah 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 blah.
So. Jordan Hare might be one of the more overrated environments, but it's also because the team is just not very good. But also, I mean, they did get blown out by New Mexico State at home, so I don't know. Something to think about.
Yeah. I'm trying to find another game on here from last week worth talking about in the ACC.
North Carolina, Charlotte put up 20 points on them. You know who the defensive coordinator for North Carolina is, right?
I do.
You do too,
and so does Sea-Dog.
Y'all better not lose to North Carolina.
Yeah.
That would be really
I'm
bad.
killing myself if we lose that game.
You're not going to lose
Straight
that
up.
game. Stop it.
Straight up.
Stop it. I will admit I picked Marshall to beat Virginia Tech based on their performance against Vanderbilt. I was wrong. They beat Marshall 31-14. Still think that Virginia Tech is massively overrated going into the season and is probably right around what we picked them. Let me get my notes again. I don't remember what we picked them to do. 8-4. I'm taking that back. We should probably revise that 8-4 and make it more like a 6-6 or 7-5 based on the way that it looks so far this year. But they did find a way to beat Marshall, so you got to give them credit for that. And that game was in Marshall too, I believe. No, it was at Tech. Sorry. Cal Poly. I didn't even know they had a football team. I thought that was a science school. Virginia. Hey, Virginia. How about Virginia? Where's Wahoo?
Yeah, I watched the first half.
Where's Wahoo Brad? There's Wahoo Brad. Virginia beat Wake. Virginia's 2-0. Holy shit.
Pretty close.
Yeah,
I think-
that was a hell of a game. It was just sandwiched between all the primetime games, so nobody was watching it over all the other ones.
I saw a little bit of it, but that's pretty crazy that freaking Virginia. Is this like? I mean, what does this mean?
It means nothing, but Virginia was 2-0.
You don't think Virginia could be decent this year?
I hope they are. I'm a Tony Elliott fan. I don't hate Virginia. I mean, first of all, who hates Virginia other than Virginia Tech? I mean, they're the least hateable team in the ACC.
Yeah, no, Virginia's like my second favorite team in the ACC for sure.
Yeah.
They're chill. But I wonder. I thought Wake would kind of be a little better this season. I'm a little disappointed, but maybe they're both just okay teams. I don't know. I wish I saw the beginning of the game, but obviously we'll have to have more of a sample size to figure out if these teams are any good or not.
What do y'all do me a favor? If
Pretty freaking exciting.
Slim had to drop out for some reason, if y'all see him come back in the StreamYard, can you just let me know? I'll switch back over and let him back in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
got it.
big win for Virginia, man. Now, I think we picked them to win 4 games. They're halfway there. This is amazing.
I definitely didn't pick them to beat.
Nobody did. Nobody on the ACC panel picked Virginia to beat Wake Forest. Nobody. Now they beat them by 1 point, but hey, a win is a win is a win.
A win's a win.
This where the Virginia playoff run
Win is a win.
And it was on the road too. I mean, this was in Wake Forest. So shout out to the Wahoos on that one.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Virginia to the playoffs, baby.
Boy, it's almost like Tony Elliott. What am I doing here? It's almost like Tony Elliott is coaching for his job. That's what it seems like, doesn't it?
Could be.
I wouldn't be surprised if he freaking was out of here by the end of the year, but
I think Wake Forest is in for a really, really bad year, so it wouldn't surprise me if they.
Wahoo Brad says he almost went to that game. That's crazy. I was not considering going to like road games at Jeff Collins' 3rd year, so that's pretty crazy.
George Washington, 1776 in the chat says Virginia will win the ACC.
Slim.
Wow.
Boy,
That'll be the day.
That's a hot take of all hot takes there.
That'll be the day.
That would be funny if they did. All right, moving on to this coming week. Again, there's several teams on bye. I'm trying to figure out who they are other than Clemson.
So we don't have a bye. We got to freaking play.
Pete Slim's back.
He is back? Okay, here. I'm going to pick him up.
It doesn't look like a ton of good games.
There's not a ton of good games. No. Yeah, there's not a ton of good games here. Oh, but the one at the top of the list here is a good game. Actually, I see more good games on here than I thought. Memphis at Florida. This is the one we've all been waiting for, based on the fact that Florida State's 0-2, and Memphis is a very good team. So, who do you guys have in this game? I've got Memphis. I'm sorry. I know everyone's like, "Oh, Florida State's going to get it together." Look, they need more than a week off to fix the problems that I saw for Florida State. I'm picking Memphis to win this. No,
You're definitely at a crossroads, but this is a really tough game. Hey,
I don't think Florida State is a particularly good football team, but here's what I'll say about that Boston College loss, and we've all seen it. You get upset week 1, and you let Georgia Tech beat you again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And listen, I called Florida State to rebound against Boston College, and I'm going to say they let Georgia Tech beat them again. This is definitely a step down in competition, although maybe not, because Memphis might be better than Georgia Tech. But I'm going to go Florida State.
Florida State to me is a lot like Colorado is, in the sense that Mike Norvell barely recruits, if at all, and he just gets a group of one-year rentals or mercenaries for his team, and that team is basically
he really doesn't though,
right now. Okay,
really, like the vast majority of guys he's gotten have been 2- and 3-year guys.
Not only that, hasn't Florida State recruited didn't they finish recruiting the past couple of years in the top at least 11 or 12? I think
he's had one class at number 10.
Yeah.
Much like Josh Heupel.
Yeah, I said a little bit like Colorado. I didn't say he was exactly like Colorado. You interrupted me while I was in the middle of speaking, buddy. But yes, I'm taking Memphis.
You're a guest here, sir.
Sorry, we did just put a whooping on somebody Pete hates, so I've got special permission, right, Pete?
Yeah, you got special permission.
Well, I think it was almost a necessity when Norvell got there, because he got there in 2020, so you really couldn't recruit. So you almost, right off the bat, had to go through the portal.
Here's the issue.
He has had some trouble making inroads into high schools in Florida.
It's going to be hard for Florida State. I don't care if this game's in Tallahassee or on the Moon. It's going to be hard for them to beat a team like Memphis with the quarterback play they have there. Period.
I'm with you.
I don't know. Maybe they can find a way to here's one thing I don't think will happen in this game. Florida State's not going to win this convincingly. If they win it, it's going to be a dogfight.
Now, I don't know how much this plays into your decision, Pete, but Memphis, like most teams, doesn't rely on just one running back because nobody does that anymore.
Well, Clemson does.
Well,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But their RB1 is out with a knee injury. He got hurt in their first game.
Oh, I guess that changes things a little bit. I'm still picking Memphis to win, though.
Yeah.
I saw it because I haven't kept up with Memphis like most people, but I did see that on the 5 o'clock news that in their first game of the year, their starting running back did go
Here's the thing: that Memphis has 0 to lose in this game. Florida State is playing. I think their chances of competing in the ACC or even nationally is definitely probably over at this point. But at this point, we're about to see what Florida State's actually made of. Have they given up, or are they going to pull? They're going to pull their big boy pants up and fight. So I'm interested to see how Florida State plays in this game. This ought to be a good one. It's at 12 o'clock on ESPN.
This is legitimately hard for me to pick. I'll probably go with Florida State just to freaking. I'm thinking maybe they bounce back, but if they don't, I'm not picking them to win another game. Seriously.
I'm with you, C-Dog. I'm with you. If they don't, that's going to be 2 games I've called for them to bounce back. If they don't do it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've quit out on the season already, but if they do lose this game, then I think it's guaranteed that they've quit.
Just because you quote unquote quit doesn't mean you can't win another game, like especially against a lower classification school. So we'll see.
It's not a bad school though. Just to remember that.
That's true.
One thing is for sure. This will be the highest viewed game by a 2-loss Power 4 team.
For sure.
And mostly for the wrong reasons. Most people outside of the state of Florida, well, outside of Tallahassee, I won't even say the state of Florida because you got other schools there, are going to be rooting for Florida State to lose this game. I'm not even necessarily doing that. I'm just interested in the outcome. I'm not rooting for one team or the other. I just want to see what Florida State, if they can bounce back from their abysmal start to start the season. That's all. But if they lost, it would be funny though. I mean, let's be real. 0-3.
Mike Norvell losing to his former team.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I didn't even bring that up. Yeah, so his former team. His record at Memphis is what got him that job.
Yeah.
That might be worse than if Georgia Tech lost to Jeff Collins.
And that was my question when Norvell got hired, because I'm not taking anything away from what Norvell did at Memphis, but Justin Fuente built it. Norvell just didn't run it into the ground. He maintained it, kept the ship going steady. But that was, the building up of Memphis is what got Justin Fuente that Virginia Tech job.
How many games has Florida State won since Jordan Travis got hurt?
2.
2?
Yeah, they're 2-3 since
2-3. Man.
Or 2-2. Never mind, 2-2. Or we know they are 2-3. Yeah.
How many games has Florida State won since DJ's been quarterback there?
Well, if you count the game he got hurt in, they're 3-3. Because they're obviously his backups come in and finish that game.
Right. What time though in the game did he get hurt? Because I'm pretty sure it was in the second half, right? I could have been wrong.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Either way, that's the difference.
Yeah,
I mean,
he never started in. Yeah,
look,
he's
2-3, 3-3, whatever it is.
He's the best quarterback they've had this century, and also probably Keon Coleman might have been the best receiver they've had this century. So the two of them just aren't there.
I don't know if I can agree with that.
Who's better?
Then sometimes Coleman, any wide receiver on that 2013 team.
That's real far back, though. That's 10 years ago.
Oh, I did say this century, so now I'm talking about 24 years. But
Oh yeah. Okay, then yeah.
I don't know about any.
This dude would just take games off.
Well. Louisiana Tech at NC State. Boy, oh boy. Does NC State have a chance to lose? I mean, of course they have a chance to lose. Does NC State lose this game? After that, that beating they took?
I don't think they're that bad.
If they struggle that bad against Western Carolina, I'm not so sure.
That's what I was about to say. Forget about the Tennessee game. Tennessee's just better than NC State. But you Sea Dog's right here. Western Carolina. Who's better? Who's better, Louisiana Tech or Western Carolina?
Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
But I think NC State.
I don't know that for a fact. I'll just take Sea Dog's word for it.
I believe him.
You haven't watched them play?
I haven't seen.
I haven't watched Louisiana Tech play.
I haven't. No.
I'm talking about NC State. I don't need to watch Louisiana Tech play.
So who you picking though? You already know who I'm picking here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we all know who you're picking. I'm gonna pick NC State.
I don't know. It's honestly like 50-50.
If Louisiana Tech wins this game, at what point does NC State fans and the rest of us start talking about Dave Doeren having to moving on from Dave Doeren? I'm being serious now. I'm not even trolling anymore. They've never won 10 games. He hasn't won the ACC. He's
the winningest coach in NC State.
Yeah, because he's the longest tenured coach in NC State history.
Okay, he's got as much chance of getting fired as Dabo.
I don't know, man.
I think it's a little less, but unless they have a complete meltdown this year, I don't see them firing or even coming close to firing Dave Doeren.
But if they start the season out 1-2, though, I mean, they were in the odds. Who was in the odds, Slim, to win the ACC? The top 4 teams were Miami, Clemson, Florida State, Clemson, Miami, and NC State.
Yeah, but what did we say? This is right on schedule for NC State and Dave Doeren to have their fuck-up season.
But they have their fuck-up season like literally every other year.
Well, no, listen.
Yeah, they do.
NC State will. It's not every other year. They'll have a couple of years, and then they'll rattle off 8 or 9 wins, and then a couple more years, and that's kind of their cycle.
Yeah, that's no good. I don't even.
The administration at NC State has figured
at the vast majority of Power 4 schools, that is unacceptable.
Maybe NC State just knows their role.
And also, yeah, NC State really isn't the vast majority. Where were they before Dave Doeren got there? Were they better or worse? I would say worse, correct?
No, I don't think so.
They have one 10-win season in their program's history.
Yeah, and it wasn't under him. He's never won 10 games there. Billy Cole says NC State is still in the running for the ACC. No, they're not. Have you seen them play? I don't care. I understand mathematically they are. I've seen them play. They're not in the running to win the fucking MAC. They're that bad. Fuck them. Move on.
Might be a little bias running in there.
Listen, anybody who knows me knows I'm biased when it comes to that. So you have to take what I say with a grain of salt. But at least part of what I say is true when it comes to them.
Yes, and they may mathematically still be in it for the conference, but they have no chance. If you've watched them play, they got no chance.
NC State is NC State's never been relevant. He's referring to the video I posted earlier today about relevancy. Yeah, NC State's never been relevant. They don't meet any of the criteria that I mentioned in my video today. So,
I think NC State, this is why I don't think necessarily Dave Doeren will get fired. I think they are okay with being the best school in the state of North Carolina. I think they're okay with that.
This year they are.
I think they're okay with that a lot of years.
Actually, you know what? I'm not even sure about that. I'm not sure they are the best team in the state of North Carolina this year. We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see. But what I'm saying is expectations out of a coach is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe East Carolina is the best team.
Ooh,
The Carolinas.
you might be right about that. App State might be better.
Don't forget.
That's right, up there in Boone.
Yeah, App State might be better. East Carolina might be better. Wake Forest might be better. We don't know yet.
Hey, listen, we'll find out. If you don't put up 56 in the first half against them, they're better than App State. That does actually bring up a point, though, that you only put up 10 points for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, they played the fucking towel boy. I mean.
Well, your towel boy sucks.
Yeah, well. If they would have left their first string in there, that game would have been 110-10. So, Boston College at Missouri. This is another good game here. Now, this actually might be the most interesting game in the ACC this week.
I'm with you.
This one's really good. This one comes out at 12:45. What the hell kind of start time is that?
The SEC network.
Yeah.
Is it? I figured it'd be on like ESPN 8.
No, it's on the SEC network, but what's the point with the 12:45? I don't get that, because what's going to happen is that game's going to run till 4 o'clock, and people are going to be looking at 3:30 games and switch off of that game. You know? So, anyway, whatever. Boston
College. You're going to be watching noon kickoffs and switch off of that
game. Well, not if it's close.
Well.
Now, look, Missouri's favored for a reason. We talked about this on the Lunch Money Show last night. Missouri's favored for a reason. They should win this game. The game is in Missouri. I have a feeling that Boston College can compete in this game, and upset alert for Missouri is all I'm saying. And I'm not.
Listen, I'm not high on Missouri. You lost that running back. What was his name?
Cody Schrader.
Yeah, Cody Schrader. Like, see, you're missing 1,600 all-purpose yards from last year, and that was not a great football team. Like, Florida took them down to the wire last year.
Well, they won 11 games. That was a pretty good football team. Just because they had one bad game against Florida doesn't mean they were not a good team.
Well,
they didn't win 11 games by being ass.
Well, I'm not saying they're ass, but okay, I'll give you an example. We said this about South Carolina. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I think even Peete agreed to this at the time because I was listening to it on the Lunch Money Show, that they were probably going to be a better team than what their record was. I think Missouri was a worse team than what their record was. And I think that's going to prove true again this year because for the vaunted SEC schedule, that's a bunch of bullshit for a schedule.
I see a lot of similarities with Boston College and Georgia Tech, and this is Sea-Dog, and you might want to plug your ears for this. I think there are a lot of similarities between these two teams, except I think Boston College is tougher than Georgia Tech is.
Yeah.
Fran Brown told me that, by the way.
I'm taking that personally.
But I don't know. I think this is a bad matchup for Missouri. Not that they're not more skilled than Boston College is, but I think it's just a bad matchup.
I don't think so. I think Missouri. Look, Boston College comes in and hands it off the middle a bunch of times against a freaking piss poor, defeated Florida State team.
Well, okay. Who's Drink is an offensive guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, I think he's more defense. Because they've shut out both of their opponents that they played.
Well,
again, high school teams, but
was he not an offensive coordinator? That's what we're getting at.
Yeah, I think Bill O'Brien's a better offensive.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien's a better offensive coordinator, and I think I don't think I know. Boston College has the better quarterback.
What weapon on Boston College compares to like
the quarterback
for Missouri? I mean.
Okay, what's Luther Burton without a good quarterback?
A good wide receiver, I guess. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
I'm really high on ball. I like Boston College quarterback. He's good.
And Brady Cook isn't a bad quarterback. So that nobody. I don't think there's anybody that said that Brady Cook is a bad quarterback because that definitely is not true.
I'm not saying he's garbage, but is he in the top half of SEC quarterbacks? I don't think so.
Probably not. No, he's not. Again, but he's an average quarterback, which I think is good enough with the talent around him. As we saw last year, they're still bringing back a lot of their key pieces. But yeah, you are right. One thing you are right about, though, is I do need to see a little bit more out of the run game. If anything, that would be my concern going up against Boston College.
Well, listen, they may be a better, they may be a bad football team, but on paper, Boston College has still got the better win over Florida State.
Hey, Sea-Dog,
yeah, sure.
Sea-Dog, does Boston College play Georgia Tech this year?
Nah.
Man, I would love to see that game.
Well, not until the ACC championship anyway.
I knew that was about to come out. Anyway, I'm going to pick Missouri in this game, but I think this is one to watch. I'm gonna definitely be watching this one. I think it's going to be a good game.
Narratives. Give me the fighting Bill O'Briens.
Fighting Bill O'Brien's. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston College pulled the upset. I seriously wouldn't.
Nah, I'm going Missouri. I mean, come on. I think the Florida State game, don't let it do the same thing it did to Georgia Tech and get you overhyped on Boston College.
I'm not overhyping Boston College. I said it. I'm pushing narratives.
Billy Cole, Missouri is ranked number 6 in the country right now, sir. And
Boston College let Brady. Oh, you go ahead.
Boston College took Georgia Tech's spot at 24. So.
Oh yeah. Well, Boston College did let DJ put up almost 300 yards passing, so I think Brady might have a field day. So give me Mizzou.
I see a lot of SEC fans that hate Eli Drinkwitz. I don't. Can somebody explain that to me? I know. Well, you're an SEC fan. What's the deal with that?
I dislike him because of the jab he put on Josh Heupel after he beat him. We stand on business, Josh. What does that even mean? That's the only reason.
A lot of Tennessee fans don't like him because he took a shot at Heupel, which, I mean, let's be honest, that's a big target, so might as well.
He said that because he said that if his team won, he promised them he would say it, even though it didn't make any sense.
Okay.
Literally, the only reason that I found was that he was salty that the last 2 years Tennessee put a 60 bomber on him both years. So that's why he was saying it, because we were like, it was unsportsmanlike to let Joe Milton throw the ball on Missouri up by 50-something points. But that's the only reason I can think of.
I mean,
I don't know why other SEC fans hate him. I think they just hate him because he looks like a dork. That's it. I don't know.
I mean, I would call it unsportsmanlike if your first string is in there throwing bombs to the end zone in the fourth quarter. But if it's your third stringers or, like Pete said, the towel boy, we got that guy Sheldon in full pads and helmet in the stands. If he's in the game in the fourth quarter and they're scoring, well, it just is what it is.
Yeah, and even Eli Drinkwitz said it himself after the game was over. People asked him, do you think it's unsportsmanlike for Tennessee to put up that many points? And he was like, we couldn't stop them. Of course they're going to score. So I don't know where he suddenly got that from, whether it was just like the team brought it up to him. I really don't know. But that's the only reason why I particularly don't like him.
We had the conversation last week about South Carolina. If South Carolina were to move on from Shane Beamer, what's a better job, South Carolina or Missouri?
A better job right now?
What's a better job?
I really don't know who. I mean,
I stumped you.
That's a tough question.
Is it? I would say Missouri only because they've been recruiting better. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
and the gap isn't even that big.
Well, they're recruiting better because the Walton family dropped off an ass ton of cash.
Sure, but they're still recruiting better. That doesn't take away.
Yeah, South Carolina doesn't have the Walton family. I mean, Longhorns dropping you off money.
I think that South Carolina for a coach is actually a better job than Missouri. I do.
I don't understand this thing with Shane Beamer on the hot seat. I really don't.
Well, because you saw them beat Kentucky.
No. How is it Shane's fault that he had 13 O linemen go down to season-ending injury last year?
I know you're still talking about last year.
Okay, but the previous 2 years before that, he hit the over on the over-under.
So we're going back. Okay, so he's had one good season.
No,
by their
he's
standards.
Had 2. He's overachieved 2 seasons. He had one season where, okay, you got hit by the injury bug. Shit happens. We'll call him mulligan on that one. If he hits the over again, that's 3 out of 4 years he's hit the over. What's the problem?
I agree. I disagree with Billy Cole. He says South Carolina is geographically not in a good place, very competitive. I think that they're in the same place as Clemson, geographically.
Yeah, no, I think South Carolina's in a better recruiting environment than Missouri is.
That's the only reason I'm saying it's a better job.
And by the way, Shane's killing it. Like, Shane is raking them in out of the state of South Carolina. Now, obviously, South Carolina's not putting out talent like, Georgia or Florida or Texas, but, I mean, okay, own your state. That's a place to start.
Yeah, thank you, Billy. Shane Beamer is 21-18 as a head coach and 10-14 in the SEC. That's his record.
Yeah.
So that answers your question about why would he be on the hot seat.
I'm with Pete on this one. I think it's sad that at this point in time, South Carolina fans are still using that win over Clemson and Tennessee 2 years ago as a way to propel Shane Beamer forward.
Yeah, but that candle's out of wax. It's time. I mean, this is a what have you done for me lately business, and he hasn't done shit lately. Not a goddamn thing.
Well, and that's how you end up like Miami, Tennessee, and Texas over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's how Clemson's going to end up like them as soon as they run Dabo out of town on the first thing smoking.
Yeah. Well, keep waiting on that too. You and everybody else. Not happening anytime soon.
Well, they're not going to have to because he's retiring now all by his own self.
Right. When?
According to him, next year.
According to him?
Yeah. Dabo's a man of his word, isn't he?
No.
Is he not? Dabo's a liar?
Yes.
I didn't think so.
He's a liar who wins.
I was wrong.
He's a liar who wins a lot, and he'll continue to lie and he'll continue to win. Thank you. A Ball State at Miami.
Speaking of Miami.
I'm taking Miami. Oh, man. Georgia Tech, VMI. I mean, do we need...
Bounce back.
Bounce back.
You better not lose to VMI, Sea-Dog.
Yeah, can we focus on that for a second?
Considering we handled Georgia State, I think we should be okay.
No, you didn't handle Georgia State. They were giving you all you wanted for
whatever, man.
Football.
Focus on Ball State.
Can we focus on this for a second? It says tickets as low as $4.
Jesus.
Good Lord.
It does say that.
Why, dude? You go to checkout, and somehow it's like $117.
Boy, this is the...
Even for the Miami game, they're only a whopping $30.
This game's not even on TV. This game's not even on TV.
Watch it.
Neither was Miami and Florida A&M. That was on ACC Network Plus.
They might as well be paying people to go to that game.
This will be a blowout, right? I mean, seriously, because I was looking at the betting lines. I don't even think there is a betting line. That's how you know it's going to be bad. I mean, Georgia Tech should win this by 100, but...
They better.
I tend to agree.
Sea-Dog, you may want to hide if they don't.
I'm doing the calculations.
We didn't even lose the FCS teams in like Jeff Collins besides his like first year. So
I'm trying to figure out if I drove to Atlanta, I'd probably spend about $50 in gas, maybe $60. $4 for a ticket, that's $64.
How much is a Coke and a hot dog?
Yeah. I think I might be able to make that trip for under $100. You think?
Yeah. It's all the fees, bro. They get you. You're like, it's going to cost me $8 to go to this game with my wife. No.
I could probably.
There are no fees if you buy one at the damn gate when you get there.
Yes, there are, dude.
I could probably convince Vic's parents to let me sleep in his basement so that I don't have to pay for a hotel.
I paid over $100 to go to the Bowling Green loss last year. Me and my wife and brother.
Ouch.
God.
$4.
Paid to go watch. You paid for that misery?
I know. I needed a refund. That was ridiculous.
It costs less to go to a Georgia Tech game than it does in the movies.
Oh,
You could
speaking
probably-
of refund, did you hear what Auburn fans are doing to Peyton Thorne?
No.
They're sending him request for payment for lost bets on Venmo and Cash App.
And his Venmo.
That's pretty good.
Oh man, leave that man alone.
Poor guy.
This is an interesting one, just because this is a big rivalry game, right? West Virginia at Pittsburgh. Now, anytime you have a rivalry that's this better between these two teams, you never really know who's going to win. I picked Pittsburgh last night on the Lunch Money Show, and Pittsburgh's an underdog, by the way. Now try to figure that one out. I can't figure it out. Have you seen West Virginia play?
I saw them. I watched the West Virginia Penn State game, but I can't tell you who they played this past week.
I don't know.
I think it was a high school team.
Yeah, they beat a high school team by 3 touchdowns or something, but they're just I'm not impressed by them at all. Not that I'm impressed by Pittsburgh, but the fact that this is a rivalry and it's in Pitt, and they're an underdog.
Yeah, give me that home dog in a rivalry.
Yeah, no doubt.
I may actually bet that one too.
You get 2.5. I don't know what it is now. You might want to take it before it goes down to a pick'em game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is anybody? What do you guys think? What is anybody picking West Virginia to upset? I mean, well, not upset. They're the favorite to win.
I don't know. From what I've seen from West Virginia, they've looked a little underwhelming. So after the Pitt comeback against Cincinnati, I think that pushes them momentum-wise forward, and I think they beat West Virginia.
Well, and here's, I know not everybody likes the transitive property in football, but West Virginia obviously lost to Penn State, and Penn State was riding the struggle bus against something called Bowling Green. You should know about that, Sea-Dog.
Look, man, like I said, I don't feel as bad about myself lately.
Hey, Penn State almost lost to Bowling Green, too.
There's nothing we could do more embarrassing than, like, Notre Dame. You know?
Oh, the season's not over yet, sir.
Well, look, we have VMI.
Wait a minute.
Any loss after VMI is nowhere near embarrassing.
VMI would be a worse loss than NIU.
Okay. I know, but
y'all lost to NIU, sir. So your team was on the exact same level.
I get it, but I mean, at least we weren't ranked 5. We were terrible that year.
That you were not.
Imagine being ranked 5, and coming home, you just get a big win on the road at Texas A&M, one of the hardest places to play in the country. You come home and lose to NIU. Man.
The first time Marcus Freeman did this, he did this against Marshall 2 years ago.
Marcus Freeman is not him. I mean, he's just not the guy.
He's not him. He's just
the only thing more.
Well, hang on. Marcus Freeman has been a head coach for, has he even been a head coach for 24 months?
Okay, that's fine.
A little bit.
But he's not the guy. I mean, he's not going to get them where they want to go.
Now that I think about it, the only thing that would be more embarrassing than losing to Northern Illinois would be losing to the team that lost to Northern Illinois.
Oh, damn.
So think about that. You do play that team.
That's true.
Thank you for the super chat, Hunt Dog. He says, Hawk Tua. That's what he said. Hawk Tua to you too, sir.
I thought that's what she said.
Well, that's what he said too, though. She said it, and then he just repeated it, I guess.
Sounds like he said, she said. Yeah.
He said, she said. Anyway, thank you for the super chat, buddy. UConn and Duke. Man, the tickets for UConn and Duke cost more than Georgia Tech's tickets do.
Wow.
They're $11, more than double.
Come on, you realize Group of 5 team. Leave me alone.
You realize if this game was in, say, 3 months, I mean, everybody would be watching this game. Because it'd be a basketball game.
That's a good point.
That is.
Yes, I didn't even think about that. I'm trying to find one on here that's even worth talking about it. Oh, Virginia Tech at Old Dominion. Now, this is somebody informed me the other day that this is the 3rd year in a row they've played. I think Slim might have been the one that told me this. They're scheduled to play each other every year from now until 2030. Is that true?
Oh, they did sign like a 10-year contract or something.
It's at Old Dominion too. Yeah.
It's like a rivalry almost.
Oh, it's a
because Virginia
rivalry.
Tech can't beat-
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
A rivalry
losing.
with a shitty trucking company. Old Dominion is terrible.
A
Well, that
shitty trucking company.
has owned Virginia Tech.
Well,
yeah, they keep losing to them.
well, Virginia Tech beat them last year in Virginia Tech,
I'm about
but
to say they lost to them once.
so they lost.
They they lost them once, almost lost to them last time.
Well, okay, but if Virginia Tech ends up 9-1, then
I got to tell you what.
They are not ending up 9.
I got to tell you what. Old Dominion might win this game for real. Did you see them play against South Carolina? Old Dominion played South Carolina better than Kentucky did,
Yeah, plus Virginia Tech's not that good.
and that was on the road.
That Vandy win wasn't a fluke.
was Virginia Tech on a bye week this past week?
No, they
No.
played Marshall.
Yeah, they beat them barely.
Yeah.
Okay, well Marshall's better team than Old Dominion.
But it is on the road.
This game's in Old Dominion. I mean, nobody just waltzes into Old Dominion and expects to get a win.
Oh Jesus Christ! Give me Virginia Tech.
Go ask Alabama what it's like to play in a Group of 5 stadium. Played against South Florida, nearly lost.
And we got them next week.
At home or on the road?
On the road.
Oh, you should play them on. Ooh.
Damn. Looking at the ticket prices here, the cheapest ticket you can get for Old Dominion in Virginia Tech is $91.
Speaking of ticket prices, have you seen? Good God, have you seen the ticket prices for Texas A&M?
No, what are they?
Floating around $900 to $1,100 for the cheapest ticket.
You get no way.
That was the information that I saw.
Well,
They haven't played in quite some time.
I understand the whole, but that's insane.
Well, I agree.
The sad thing is they'll sell them out too, bro. Where is that game? Is it in A&M or Texas?
Kyle Field.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, they'll sell it out because they that's what A&M sells out every game. Doesn't matter what their record is. So.
Yeah, man. Those Yale leaders, they inspire.
Ole Miss at Wake Forest. How many points is Ole Miss going to score on Wake Forest? Now, keep in mind, Virginia beat Wake Forest last week in Wake Forest.
If the over-under was 45 points for Ole Miss, I'd take the over.
I agree. This might be 70 to 8, and I think that's a safety. I'm giving them 8 points.
Jesus, see, Ole Miss is another one of those teams, man. Like, this is just a third punching bag in a row. And I mean, I can't say shit, but fuck, at least we had Florida to start the season.
There was somebody last year that took Ole Miss nearly down to the wire. I can't remember if it was Tulane or Georgia Tech. I know they played both of them recently. I just can't remember which one of those teams.
That Georgia Tech game was a one-score game going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was. So that must be what I'm thinking of because
Ole Miss ran away with it at the end, but.
Yeah, we freaking had them, man. We had them. Right where we wanted them.
Yeah, the Tulane game was close.
I mean, they were pretty good last year, so I was actually like, considering where we were versus where they were, I was pretty happy with our performance against them.
Yeah.
We'll see if freaking Wake can pull it off. I don't know.
Hey, I do want to give a shout out to Ball State, though. At least they're smart enough not to put their fucking bird with teeth.
Now, I don't think this game's going to be competitive, but let's just play Fantasyland here for a second. Would Wake Forest beating Ole Miss be worse than Notre Dame losing to NIU?
No.
It might be.
No.
No?
No.
NIU may legitimately be a better team than Wake Forest. Wake Forest is bad.
Wake Forest is a 5 team, so it's hard to say that.
It's going to look better because Wake Forest is in a power conference, but NIU may legitimately be better in Wake Forest.
That's exactly where I was going with this. If Wake Forest and NIU lined up next week, I bet you it would be less than a score in the spread. I mean, less than a touchdown in the spread.
This is on the road, though. So if Ole Miss was playing Wake Forest at home and lost, then maybe that's up for debate. But because it's on the road, I think it makes just that much of a difference.
It's still Wake Forest, man.
I mean, yeah, I know they're terrible, but they're also a Power 5 team.
Yeah.
Barely.
70-10, my official prediction. Book it.
Yeah.
Take the over.
Yeah,
If it's under 70, take the over.
Yeah, because Lane Kiffin is campaigning hard to get Jackson Dart the Heisman.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to score at will.
Yeah, so I'm expecting about 500
And they're not going to
yards
pull him
for him.
out until the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to have at least 500 yards in this game.
Maryland at Virginia. Virginia, I mean, the juggernaut of the ACC, they're sitting there 2-0. I think they're in first place, tied for first place in the ACC, along with, Syracuse. I think there's a three-way tie now. Syracuse. No. Who's the only team with 2 wins in the ACC so far? There's one team. I can't remember who it is now.
2 wins?
Is it-
Like 2 ACC wins?
Yeah. Is it Boston College?
No, they only play Florida State. I don't think anybody has. Right?
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Either way, they're tied for first place in the ACC. I mean, this is a juggernaut of a team here. Tony Elliott's got things turned around. I mean, the national championship incoming. Forget about it. So, anyway, they're going to lose to Maryland.
I don't know. Maryland is coming off a demoralizing field goal loss to Michigan State. So,
Oh, man. Well, Virginia might win this thing then.
I'm about to say, and Pineapple Jr.'s not there anymore. He's
Yeah.
gone.
yeah, and the new quarterback.
And the Big Ten's just terrible outside of Ohio State. We know that. So, you know what? Virginia might have a chance here.
Hey, I'm pushing narratives. Give me the Wahoos.
Yeah. Big Ten, no good.
ACC win over the Big Ten. Big Ten ain't shit.
Well, the world might
Wolverines
start.
shit in their pants.
The world might stop and start spinning the other way if Virginia beats Maryland and goes 3-0.
Not a lot of people seem to believe him, though. Tickets are as low as $18. Still more than the Georgia Tech man, but that's still something.
God, $4 for a ticket. Jesus.
Oh my God. Y'all leave me alone about that.
This Virginia game is 18.
Hey, you know how they were making fun of South Carolina and Florida selling their tickets at Costco in those bundle deals?
Oh, yeah.
Georgia Tech tickets are fixing to be on the shelf at Dollar General.
I've never seen tickets that cheap for a Tech game.
They keep going. They're gonna be headed to Dollar Tree.
Whatever. It's just an FCS game.
I
Who
know.
even cares?
I'm pushing narrative, Sea-Dog. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Will it be the same price next week, though?
Next week is at Louisville, so I don't know.
So maybe it'll rise up to $6.
We're gonna kill Louisville. We're gonna kick their ass. They played a sissy soft schedule until now. We're battle hardened. Just a spoiler on my pick next week
Battle hardened against Syracuse?
against Syracuse,
Damn.
Georgia State, and Florida State. And
What kind of battle was that? A pillow fight?
well, at least I'm not getting fat off of cupcakes like Louisville is.
I could see it. Hey, I could see it happening. Georgia Tech beats Louisville, gets ranked again, just to lose the week afterwards.
We had them last year, dude. We had them. Telling you.
Because whenever Georgia Tech gets into the rankings, they instantly fall off. So they beat Louisville, get ranked, and then whoever they play next beats them.
Oh no, the AP's not gonna rank them after beating Louisville. I think they've learned their lesson.
I don't know. Isn't Syracuse ranked now?
They are.
Yeah.
They
So
took
clearly they
Georgia
value them.
Tech's spot.
I think there's like 5 ACC teams right now. I mean, they're clearly the second best conference behind the SEC at this point. I mean, is that even a discussion anymore? The Big Ten's no good. Big 12, fucking trash. So
Hey, listen, I keep pushing narratives. The ACC's gonna be better than the SEC for this season.
oh god damn.
Okay, come on now. Come on now, y'all beat Florida. Relax.
Hey, listen, you're on a worse drought than us, Baltard. So pipe down.
A worse drought of what? Oh, Natty.
25 years.
Yeah, 23 is so much better.
Century.
23 is so much better.
Boy, the Big 12 is riding the coattails of Utah. There's not another good team in that conference.
God, apparently math isn't your strong suit at fucking UT.
Yeah, I get it. We both suck. Can we move on?
Yeah, he's not a math major at Tennessee.
Apparently not.
Clearly not. Go ahead and get me on that Clemson Life program.
Well, that was one of the funniest things I ever heard in my life. That might be the funniest thing that Huffer Billy Paul ever said. At the Slob Olympics, we're all standing there drinking, and Squid Tar goes, I was very close to going to Clemson, instead of Tennessee. And Slaw goes, what, for the Clemson Life program?
No, I think the story went like I was ranting about how high the prices got for tuition at Tennessee. And then I think it was Lou who was like, you should have invested in the Clemson Life program. And then Huffer Billy was like, no, he's not dumb enough for that. He's not dumb enough.
Yeah, enough, right?
So yeah, shout out to Huffer Billy. Well,
oh my God.
clearly he thinks a lot of me.
I was hoping to get a Slaw take on the win over the juggernaut that is App State, but unfortunately he's not here.
No. He's in a wheelbarrow right now.
More than likely.
So, this last game, I don't even know how to talk. San Diego State lost. Who did they lose? They lost to a bad team last week. No, it was one of the Pac-2 teams, wasn't it? Was it Washington State? No.
It was Oregon State.
Oregon State, yeah, the other one.
Oregon State just ran all over them.
Yeah, ran all over them.
Hey, Cal points.
This game's at Cal. Yeah, give me Cal in this. I don't know what this. I can't remember what the spread is. But obviously Cal's a juggernaut. I mean, they just beat Auburn.
They lost to Oregon. Okay, so San Diego State, they beat Texas A&M Commerce in week 0, and then in week 1 lost to Oregon State 21-0.
Yeah, Tyler P says Oregon State's not that bad. I agree. I picked that was my upset that I picked on the Lunch Money show last night. I think Oregon State's going to beat Oregon this week.
I think they are too, and I'm going to have so much fun on Twitter when that happens. I'm going to have so much fun.
I just realized something. Do Cal and Virginia play this year? Because the world might end if they do.
I don't know. I can look it up. But why would the world end?
Because they're the two heaviest ACC juggernauts right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Matchup of the century right there.
You're right. Nobody just goes into Cal and expects to walk out of there with a win. Doesn't Miami go to Cal?
We do go to Cal.
Oh man.
Good luck.
Good luck.
I'm half tempted to go to that game, but it has nothing to do with the game, my reasoning.
I know why you want to go. The same reason that you want Clemson to play them in Cal.
Well, no, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, eventually it will.
Yeah, that's going to happen. But, yeah, man, I mean, any opportunity you get to piss off a blue-haired land whale.
Oh man! So that's it.
Cal or like Virginia fans like anywhere?
I actually came across somebody, an Auburn fan that I follow on Twitter. Got into a back and forth. Found a Cal fan on Twitter.
Yeah, so I found a bunch of them actually on Twitter. Now I haven't seen any in our college football community yet. I'm hoping that some of them find the channel or find out about me or us or whatever. I haven't seen any yet, but they are, or at least the ones on Twitter anyway. They at least they do seem pretty passionate. Now all 3 of them do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, if you talk about them, they'll come. I mean, I talked about Kent State, and I have a Kent State fan in my on my channel now. So, if you start talking about them, somebody is bound to show up.
Oh, there were a bunch of NC State fans that come out of the woodworks coming to Tennessee fans. I saw a lot of that.
Well, yeah, and then they all ran away. I don't. Not one of them stuck around. So I haven't seen any of those NC State, mainly because they're jumping off a cliff after that one.
Sea Dog,
Oh, dude.
What?
do you play Cal this year?
No, we don't play any of the new teams this year.
Damn, you don't
Isn't that
get
weird.
you don't get an annual.
Georgia Tech
gets screwed in every way, don't they?
Dude, for all the complaining Florida State and Clemson are doing about the conference, and here's, old Georgia Tech just trudging along being the redheaded stepchild.
That is true. You guys get screwed every way, don't you?
I mean, if you call not playing them screwed, I guess.
No, I mean you're the only team in the ACC when they did away with divisions who doesn't have an annual opponent.
Us and Louisville.
Okay, you and Louisville. So then they bring on 3 new teams in the ACC. Most of them bad, and we'll see. I don't know. Cal may be okay, but SMU clearly not very good. Stanford no good, and you don't get to play any of them.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me how brutal Georgia Tech.
At least we got to play Florida State.
I mean,
So we got a couple cupcakes on there.
Oh, damn.
Louisville on the road after VMI. You got, of course, Notre Dame at North Carolina. You got to play Miami, NC State, at Georgia, at Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I see. Again, I still see 7 or 8 wins on that schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared at all of Virginia Tech. We always play good in Blacksburg. NC State, I mean, we'll kill them. They suck. Duke sucks. That's a few wins right there. Notre Dame's not as bad as they, as they might seem.
Yeah, I can definitely see 7 or 8 on this schedule.
North Carolina, I think, is going to suck too. Just a hunch.
Yeah, they do suck.
By the way,
And we own
see
them.
that Max Johnson will be coming back next year to college football.
Oh wow.
Really?
Is he sticking around at North Carolina, though?
I guess.
Right.
The little announcement thing I saw on Twitter had a picture of him in a North Carolina uniform.
Well, it's probably going to depend on whoever replaces Mac Brown after he retires, whether he stays there or not.
Right.
Dude, he needs to go home.
Did you see? Talk about crying again. Fran Brown crying after the Syracuse win. He had Sea Dog claiming that the Dabo is a big crier. Did you see Mac Brown crying about negative recruiting because apparently all the coaches in the ACC negatively recruit against him because they say he's about to leave because he's old and he's going to retire. Did y'all see that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
funny.
it doesn't surprise me because Mac Brown's getting a little whiny in it.
Well, first of all, I love Mac Brown. He's one of my favorite coaches. But how is that negative recruiting? It's just true.
That sounds like something Brian Kelly would say.
It's just true. If I'm recruiting against North Carolina for the same player, I'm going. He's fucking got one foot in the grave, right? I mean,
Dude, I don't know how you like Mac Brown. Like, if I was a Texas fan, I'd want to kill that motherfucker.
why? They ran him out of town.
Because before he got ran out of town, Nick Saban was in Austin to sign the contract to go to Texas, and Mac Brown fucked him over.
Well, what's he supposed to do?
Like I said, if I was
So
a
if
Texas
somebody
fan,
comes to
I'd
take
wanna
your
kill him.
job, you're not going to try to fuck him over?
Well, I don't think. I think it. Well, he ended up retiring anyway. Like, he didn't even get fired from Texas.
I know. They ran him out on a rail, though. And up until now, they've been shit ever since. It was a bad decision.
But yeah, he didn't want Nick Saban coming in trampling over his legacy at Texas. So he screwed them over on getting Saban before he got out of there.
What's up, Big Dog Brady? Says Clemson is my second favorite team right now. Well, first of all, Georgia has the best win in all of college football right now. Beating Clemson by 31 points is the best win in college. Can you name one better?
Maybe Texas over Michigan.
If anything, I would say Texas over Michigan, but that's,
maybe that's a close second.
At Michigan.
Leaving my bias aside, yeah, those are the two best.
Not leaving my bias aside.
Well, I mean, no bias. That's not even a question. Both Texas and Michigan were top 10.
Yeah,
that's the number one.
Yeah,
win.
okay, but let's be real. Is Michigan really top 10, Slim?
Doesn't matter if they are. They were.
It does matter what they are. I know what they were. I'm just telling you. Do you think that Michigan's a top 10 team?
No, I don't.
No, exactly.
But it doesn't matter because they were ranked number 10.
I don't think Clemson is either, to be honest.
I didn't say they were.
Well,
what was Clemson's ranking? What was Clemson's?
Clemson was 14. Clemson's preseason ranking was 14. Yeah.
Clemson and freaking Michigan are probably about as good as each other.
I don't know. What's more impressive, a 31-point win against the 14th ranked team in a neutral site, or a win against the top 10
Clemson
team?
has a better offense and defense than Michigan. They just do. They'd win that game. I'm not saying they blow them out, but I think they would win. I think Clemson would be favored against Michigan.
That's a game I really want to see now, Clemson and Michigan.
Well, you know what? They'd never played ever in history.
Yeah, and so they need to.
I would love to see that game. I've been saying that for years.
It's possible they could end up in the Holiday Bowl or something.
There's a couple of teams, big name teams that Clemson's never played in history. Michigan, I think Texas is another one.
I'd like to see, just because of, storyline around it, I'd like to see Miami and Oregon play. They've only played one time in history. And, of course, Miami won.
Oh, no. I just got news.
Absolutely skunked them, too. We won with a whopping 2-0.
What's the news, Sea-Dog?
So, just in, breaking from VMI football, starting quarterback Colin Shannon will miss the Georgia Tech game with a shoulder injury.
Well.
So what?
VMI before, but now I got picked.
So now instead of $4, the tickets are $1.
Hey, what did I tell you, Pete? That shit was headed to Dollar Tree.
VMI is also 0-2. I didn't know. They lost 7-41 against William and Mary.
Dude, let me tell you, Sea-Dog, you better win this game. If you lose to an 0-2 VMI without their starting quarterback with $1 tickets,
listen, I'm gonna sleep just fine.
Down.
I'm not worried about this game at all.
I'm not saying be worried. I'm just saying you better win it.
We will.
Never live that one down.
Don't worry, we will.
I don't know, man. You don't seem to have the best luck there, Sea-Dog.
We don't need luck.
Is this a new narrative you're trying to push?
We got this.
Guys, it is 9 o'clock. I have to shut the show down.
Yeah, we got to go watch the debate.
Oh, I forgot about that. Holy shit, that's gonna be more of a train wreck than watching Georgia Tech against Syracuse.
Oh,
damn.
Hey, catch your strays all night, Sea-Dog.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for letting me on as an NC man, Pete. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Congratulations on your big win against NC State. I am forever indebted to you for that, sir.
No problem.
Yeah.
We did our part.
You did your part. I'm proud of you. Thank you.
All right. Sayonara, fellas.
See you later, man.
All right, Slim. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Had fun.
Hell yeah. Toodles.
All right, toodles.
See you, Slim.
All right, Sea-Dog, we did it again, my friend.
Yeah, we did.
We'll do it again next week, too.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. All right, buddy.
All right, I'll see you.
Hey, who do you have? Who do you have in the debate? Is it Trump minus 14? I think.
Minus 14. I don't know. I just hope it'll be as funny as the last one.
Yeah, I know.
That shit was funny.
Well, that last one was such a disaster. This one might be just as big of a disaster, honestly.
That shit was funny when they started arguing over who's better at golf. I hope we get something like that.
Yeah. All right. See you later, buddy. Have a good night.
Later.
All right. All right. That's going to do it for me as well. And I mean, you're welcome, Big Dog Red. Yeah. I love you, man. Anyway, that's going to do it for me as well. Thanks you for tuning into the ACC show. If you're new here and you haven't hit the subscribe button already, I don't know why you haven't done that. So go ahead and do that on your way out, and the thumbs up and all that jazz. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for the midday show on my second channel. I need to do a better job of promoting my second channel. If you're not subscribed to that, there is a link to it in the description of the video. Now, that's not a football channel necessarily. We do talk about football over there sometimes, though. All right. Anybody, have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.